Hey guys, it's Mike Wallace for round 2 of Derby Fever Television. I apologize for the last video, the fact that A, it's a little washed out if you try to get it big. I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to give you guys an idea of how to play this thing while I've got a chance to take some time and show you. I also would like to apologize for not having the charisma of a Dr. Dipperlip, but more or less the charisma of grass, but I can't help that. I also apologize that I have an incorrectable Kentucky hillbilly accent. I can't get rid of that. And I also apologize that I'm rather monotone, but I promise I will try to speak higher and lower just to keep my video interesting. Actually, I won't do that because that's annoying. I just really don't know how to be very charismatic. I apologize, but I do know how to write a horse racing game. Arguably a decent game, bad game, good game. Your mileage may vary. But what I do want to focus on here is our stable stats, or our stable finance screen. Stable finance has a lot of similar things that the last screen had. We have stables, stable names, dollars have, pending claims, that's new, and pending auction, that's new. I'm going to cover those real quick. Maintenances, the farm maintenance. This is maintenance per day for active horses. This is maintenance per day of horses on your farm, and I'm going to have to explain that. Points, how many points we have in each stable. No, I really don't have 338 points that I've earned. I've shoved them in there to do a lot of testing. I promise I'll clear them out. I think anybody who's seen me play for the last 13 years and struggle knows that I do very little helping of my own stables. So I promise you're not working at an advantage of a corrupt game runner and rider. I just need to test certain features out. That's why the Bill Gulch stable has 338 points on a new game that he couldn't have possibly earned that many with. Pending points is related to pending claims, and I'll get back to that. We've seen active and inactive numbers over here before, so I'll skip that. First off, the pending claims is how many claims you have in, how many dollars. So say, for instance, that you have a pending claim in for a stable for a $4,000 claimer and a pending claim in for a $10,000 claimer. This pending claim would show negative $14,000 overall, and depending on which stable you have them in, they would be spread out across the stables. This is just a good idea, give you an idea of how much money you've got on the table to spend very soon. It really doesn't promise that's going to come out of your stable, but it just gives you an idea. Pending points is related in the fact that claims cost points as well. So depending on how many points, there's still 1 point for $500 claimer, so a $2,000 claimer would cost you 4 points. There is a difference now. If you go out and try to claim a $150,000 claimer, it will cost you 300 points. I don't cap it anymore. The cap seemed arbitrary, and really there was not much difference in the game between a $75,000 claimer and a $150,000 claimer. That shouldn't be. So I removed that restriction, and I think we'll see a lot better horses roll into those high-level claimers now. Could make things interesting, so I've decided to eliminate the cap. Pending auction is a little bit different than pending claims, because in pending claims, if you have a horse and a claimer, you won't see a positive amount in there because there's no guarantee he's going to get claimed. But in pending auction, you see that the E. Bryant stable, for instance, has $225. That is because the E. Bryant stable has a horse at auction, and someone has been stupid enough to bid $225 on it because it's a pretty horrible horse. That being said, that someone was me using a second stable to test things, so yeah, I'm as dumb as I sound. But it does work, it seems. So he does have $225 coming to him at the end of the auction. It's not reflected in his have number yet, but once the auction's done, it's going to move over. Maintenance per day is how much per day your active horses are costing you to maintain. Unlike before, it will cost you money, sim money, not real money of course, to maintain horses that are running in your stable. So before, you could carry 10 horses in all your stables and just happy-go-lucky, hey, it didn't matter if you had 1 or 10 horses. Not really the case anymore. You carry more horses, it's going to cost you more money. The amount of money is based on the prior success of the horse, which I know seems a little weird, but I had to put an amount in there. I wanted them all to cost a little bit different. So horses that have been historically successful, that have had grade 1 wins or grade 2 wins, will cost you more to maintain than a horse that has never won a race or only has a maiden claim win or a maiden win or a claim win. I know that older horses are going to cost more, and you'll be like, oh, well, that doesn't seem right. He's a claimer now, even though he won a grade 3 in his lifetime. But just gives you something to worry about. Makes your life a little more interesting. Makes your decisions a little trickier around the game. And hey, you know what? It's all about playing here. Realism's fun and all, but at the same time, I like to keep things a little exciting. To me, this is exciting. I know that makes me sound as big a nerd as you probably assumed I was, but it does keep us on our toes in the sim. But the farm per day is a bit different. The maintenance per day for the active horses, generally, I don't think it goes past $100 a horse per day. I think it may even go down to $10. The farm per day is pretty cheap, and it depends on how many horses you have at the farm across all of your stables. So the farm per day, as you see, it costs me $64 a day. I have 4 horses at farm, I believe. Even though it shows 6 inactive horses, those horses are at auction. So I really only have 4 per day, and those 4 are at the farm. Those 4 are costing me $16 a day. And or actually, I may have another one at the farm, but your first day at the farm doesn't cost you anything. So I may have moved a horse over to the farm, but the first day doesn't cost you anything. After that, it calculates your entire farm amount for each horse. This amount, again, this is for gameplay, goes up exponentially. It doesn't, if you have 10 horses at the farm, it may cost you, X amount of dollars. If you have 100, it doesn't cost you 10 times that much. It's going to cost you a lot more than that. And the reason is I don't want people just hoarding horses for no good reason. I don't mind horses being at the farm. I think it's a good idea. If you have a horse that's laid off, you stick him at the farm, it costs you a little bit. Actually, when you claim a horse now, you're going to see he goes to your farm initially before you pull him into your active stable. So you can actually have 10 horses and go claim a horse. That's good. You don't have to worry about before, cleaning out stables, claim or this, claim or that. Same thing with breeding. They go directly to your farm. So if you have a horse, 10 horses in your stable, go ahead and breed a horse. That's fine. You're always going to get him. But if you decide not to move him into your active stable soon, he's going to cost you a little bit. And again, as you can see, 4 horses at the farm costing $64 a day. Not that big a deal. But if you have dozens or particularly try to carry hundreds, that amount is going to go up, like I said, exponentially. And just don't do it. I mean, really, I'm not worried at this point about realism. The one thing I've learned from running this game over 13 years is that regardless of how much you try, you cannot simulate real money. It just can't be done because there's a big difference. If someone says, hey, you know what, I'll give you, I'll bid $100,000 for a cheap claimer. Hey, even though it's, a cheap claimer, I'll bid $100,000 in the auction. It's not real money. And at the end of the day, there's no consequence. There may even be consequences inside of the game, but your house isn't going to get foreclosed because you did something ridiculous in the game. There's no way to really model that accurately. So what I've done is when you do things that, or not just you, I'm not blaming you. If you're watching this video, I keep saying you. I sound like I'm talking to my kids, and I apologize. It's just a matter of habit. But if someone decides that they want to do things that are outside the scope of reality, I'll let them. I think that in the past I've tried to limit things at times, and I'm not sure that's always the best way to approach things, but there will be consequences. And if you decide that you want the consequences, go right ahead. I can't stop you. Won't even try anymore. But consequences, if you carry hundreds of horses at the farm and it's costing you tens of thousands of dollars a day to do so, hey, you know what? At least you've been warned. So that's kind of a quick explanation of the maintenance and the farm per day that you're now experiencing. But the other thing that I wanted to go over real quick in this one is let's look at some horses, okay? As you can see in our test case stable, here's some of my horses. I'm going to go over quickly what these symbols mean to a horse. Or actually, you know what? I'm going to hold off on that. Or let me see. I'm trying to figure out the best way to approach this. You know what? I'm actually just going to end this video now, even though it's a short one. I want to explain the horse stuff all together, so I don't want to split it up. You'll probably get a pretty good idea what this means just by looking at it, but I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and this is a stable finance video. We're going to work on the all horses video next and explain what these symbols mean, as well as we might even enter our horse in a race. So thank you for listening to video 2. I will post this shortly and move on to video 3. Have a good one.